Okay guys, so we are back at vear, playing against Bjarte, and currently he's in the lead 3-1 in this little road trip we have, so I really need to make a comeback here.
Welcome back to the final round between me and Bjarte on our Oslo trip, where in total we played 6 courses, which 4 of them were recorded. I am currently quite far behind Bjarte in the overall stats, and this was my last chance to kind of get somewhere even. Hole 1 apparently used to be a triple mando that you needed to go through. They have since removed it, so we did not play with it. This time we decided that both of us got a mulligan, which Bjarte used immediately, and I take mine a bit later on, but he did manage to save a stroke because of it. That puts him in an early lead as you move on to hole 2, where you kind of just need to follow this road and fade towards the end. Bjarte doing a really good job. I leaked this way too early into the bushes. Luckily it kicks out, but I have a lot of work left to do. And this approach, yeah, it didn't cut it. This unfortunately means I have a very long look for my par, whilst Bjarte can just easily lay it up for a beautiful safe par. And I need to say, he is playing phenomenal this entire trip basically. The only course where he didn't play really all that well was at Krokol Discgolf Park. Other than that, he's played phenomenally. But we tap in our putts, mine for bogey, his for par, and just try to move on to hole 3. Hole 3, a forehand is recommended as you need to get quite a bit of distance before it needs to fade in to the right. Bjarte's fading a bit early, I'm going with my DD3. Do not leave it on enough anizer, and it also fades out early, giving both of us a lot of work left for the par. Bjarte with his tomahawk with the berg is usually very good at that shot. Didn't get to the basket, but still quite far. Mine, pretty decent. I have a putt if nothing else. Bjarte kind of just needs to pitch up, but unfortunately forgets to get his super strength under control and sails way past the basket. I tap in my par as we watch the brutality, which is Bjarte's back and forth putting. He just could not catch the break here, and just running every single putt with full force. Kudos to that man. It is impressive to still do that much force after so many missed putts. Moving on from hole 3, we have hole 4, which is just basically your turnover shot on the back end, trying to get to the right, leave yourself with a putt. I gave myself a long-ish putt. Bjarte, unfortunately a bit too high, but it should also be mentioned that he misremembered where the basket is because he has played this course before, and he thought the basket was closer to the left. But gave himself a pretty easy approach as I tap in this birdie. Almost. We both just take our pars and move on. For me, this was kind of unfortunate as I could have gotten a pretty decent lead. But even though it's not that huge, I still have a lead, so let's try to keep that going. On to hole 5. And I completely forget how to use my legs. Wipe out so hard, and the disc doesn't even fly that well. Whilst Bjarte throwing a dime of a shot. Beautiful execution, almost left it too wide, but just perfect. I had quite a tricky stance, happy that I got the form momentum I got, but leaving myself with a board lights unmakeable putt. Bjarte running his, not connecting, but landing relatively safe. Here is my putt. Don't want to do anything with that, just take my medicine, move on with the loss of a stroke. I know you can lose so much more on a bad putt than you can gain with a good one. On to hole 6, and Bjarte has the tee back again. This is a short little just gap hit. Must say that it is a bit more tricky than you would have liked because of it the downhill. I'm going with my pure, early release it, and that is something I am noticing quite a lot with my form. As soon as I have a lot of obstacles right in front of me, I kind of crumble and don't get the full release with my arm. But it is what it is, something I gotta work on. And we just need to tap in this par to not lose another stroke. And that seems to be a theme today. Putting is not our strongest side. So we both end up taking our bogeys, moving on to hole number 7. Hole number 7 is kind of just pick your own path. You can either go right gap or left gap. Bjarte went with the right gap, getting a beautiful shot. And whilst I normally would choose the right gap as well, I decided for the content, let's go with the left one. Getting a bit of an early release with my forehand there, kicking into some trees. A bit unfortunate, but I do still have a relatively open approach. But a par doesn't really help when your opponent has a birdie look. Can he catch it? Finally. It is always nice to see some good putts, even though it was mine. And this is just a friendly competition. We don't take it that serious at all, just having fun. Moving on, we have a 100-meter-ish hole, just dead straight before it faces hard to the left towards the end. Here I go with my trusty T-Rex, flipping it up beautifully, riding, and crashing in right where the basket is. A bit long and not enough left, but we finally make a good putt. Catching in our first birdie. Bjarte has this putt. Fortunately cannot connect it. His drive was by all means better. I just got a better gap when it comes to the putting green. Hole 9, last of the front 9. Just basically a very simple shot. Short forehand to the island. Get it to the basket and give yourself a relatively easy birdie putt. And this had to be one of the best shots we had, as we both arced it. Star frame coming up. If your boy can just nail this putt. And obviously we do. Even though it's way too high, it's still in. And if it's in, and it's birdie, we don't question it. Hole 10, quite par. It's a par 5, 193 meters, so not the longest par 5, but with the uphill and the woods you need to go into, that 193 all of a sudden seems a lot further. And just as a warning, after the front 9, it takes a huge change of pace, because up till now we have been kind of even, but after this hole it kind of just isn't even a competition anymore. Both of us in the rough after second shot. Mine is slightly worse and not able to recover. Bjarte's is kind of in the open and gets a beautiful shot. Actually giving himself a birdie look, whilst this is for my birdie. Yeah, not really anything. Trying to save a par. Oh boy. For the bogey. Let's make a banger of a putt. Or not. This was Bjarte's birdie putt. Obviously draining it. And for my double bogey, I ended up taking a triple bogey, and at this point I was quite mentally broken. Hole 11, this is where I took my mulligan. Bjarte just absolutely draining it. Such a beautiful shot. My first shot went straight left, so I got the mulligan and pured it. Beautiful shot, just a tiny bit short. But at this point I felt like I could still compete if I just gained some birdies on him. And seeing him missing that putt gave me some hope. I went for it and chained out. So we both end up just tapping in a par. Moving on to hole number 12. Hole number 12 is a very fun hole, 120 meters, par 3, just so far downhill. Bjarte going with his P3X, and I am going with my method. We have kind of a similar hole down in Kristiansand, so try the same disc. Unfortunately, leaked it way too far left. Now, the one thing about this hole, when we get there, the green and everything else is so flooded, we decided to basically both take pars and just kind of skip it. Both of us had a extremely easy approach, and to not spoil my mood more than anything else, we just skipped over it, moved on to hole 13. Hole 13 is a par 4, 114 meters, very short, but your first throw needs to be quite a big hyzer to try to get into this hill. Then you need to approach from there. Bjarte obviously throwing a dime, and I throw for my third shot. Not a good approach by any means necessary, and basically don't have a putt. Whilst Bjarte can do almost just a step putt, giving himself yet another birdie look, whilst I had this for par. It was basically nothing. And with that, Bjarte gains yet another 2 strokes on me. And with 5 holes to play, and me being down 5, you can kind of see where this is going. So basically, even though we know who's gonna win, let's just enjoy the beautiful shots that bjarte throws, and let's laugh at the pitiful ones that I throw. And since the tension is kind of over, I can move on to my kind of thoughts about this course. As in my opinion, this was a mediocre course. I do know a lot of people actually really like this course, and I can see why. And I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that we were playing in the rain and in the mud. The conditions were terrible for this round, and it kind of affected how I felt about it. I tried to never let the way I play affect my thoughts about a course. Obviously, that is easier said than done, and this was definitely one of the rounds where that was very hard. But all in all, this course is not bad. It is a very good wooded course with some open holes sprinkled in here and there. My main complaint about this course is the walks between the holes, especially in the later parts of the course, and the fact that way too many other shots are basically just following the road. Because the shot shaping you need to do is very good, the different styles of holes, a lot of the things are very good, but the fact that a lot of the holes, and I do mean a lot of them, are just follow the path or follow the main road until it cuts off either right or left, kind of ruins the aesthetic in my opinion. But with all of that said, I would absolutely recommend you try the course, especially on a better day than what we had, as I think this course could be very fun if we didn't have all the mud and all the water. But with that little rant out of the way, we move on to the last couple of holes here, as bjarte has this birdie look, and of course he just drains it, and I have this for my bogey. And at this point there are 10 strokes separating us with 2 holes left to play. And I also gotta mention that the last course we played at Kodal, which was not recorded, he also destroyed me. So congratulations a lot to him for doing so well. He won basically 5-1 with me gaining only 1 win at Krokol. And for that, even though we didn't agree on anything beforehand, I decided to give him a disc that he was talking about him wanting from me. And another thing that's going to be really good after this video is that I'm going to stop doing these voiceovers with this awful mic. And even though it's not going to be the best audio quality, because I still haven't gotten a mic to play with yet, it's going to be a lot better than this. But with all of that said, I am just going to leave you with hole 18 as I throw and lose my MD1 and Mindbender, my favorite disc in the bag. As after this shot, I kind of just walked away from it, forgot I had it there, too tired to actually recognize that I didn't have it with me. It was a sad loss, but we finish up, and with that, hopefully I'll see you guys in the next video.